but also of its employees, customers, and suppliers, as well as government and civil society and everyone else related to its operations. The principle also gave birth to corporate social responsibility, where stakeholders now embrace all members of society, including and especially the underprivileged.
What we are doing is very complex. We are a foundation together the key decision makers from all walks of life to address the challenges on the global agenda. The annual meeting, which is the annual meeting of our members and constituents, 2,000 people from politics and business. That's the top of the iceberg. What we are doing here is following up many issues, providing frameworks for solutions, looking at industry agendas. We have a number of public-private partnerships, and so on and so on. A lot to do.
For the past decades, the World Economic Forum has bridged gaps between cultures and nations and has opened the doors for communication among peoples, regardless of ideology and gender and age.
We help them to create networks and through the networks to raise finance also. And another very important constituency are our young global leaders, because we feel today's problems need fresh solutions, creative solutions. They need new thinking, and you find this new thinking among the young people.
The World Economic Forum has acted as catalyst in major global initiatives, among which are the fight against AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria, and has played a key role in the expansion of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development and the development of the G20 concept. For the past 20 years, the World Economic Forum has been bringing together world leaders, thinkers, and the youth who have brought forth ideas and solutions in a spirit of cooperation and non-partisanship. Held in what was once a strife-torn Myanmar, the World Economic Forum in East Asia in 2013 exemplifies how far the foundation has gone in the fulfillment of its commitment to improve the state of the world.
There are those who will be serving the Burmese people in future who are seeing the way democracy can be carried out and having open discussions now about infrastructure, about political change, about democracy. It's one of those moments in my career where I say, wow.
For the special coverage of the World Economic Forum on East Asia 2014, Vera Mines.
As host of the forum, the Philippines mounted preparations fit for a major world occasion. Delegates began to arrive Monday. As earlier reported on PTV4, about 600 leaders from 30 countries are participating in the summit.
These are leaders from business, government, civil society, the academe, and the youth. They started discussing various areas of consideration yesterday in what has been termed as private industry and constituency meetings.
The Philippine government transformation centered on the benefit of the Filipino people. President Aquino said this during the courtesy call of the ASEAN Business Club led by its chairman Jaime Sobel de Ayala, CEO of Ayala Corporation, and Dato Zain Nazir Arazak, executive CIMB Group of Malaysia. Members of the ASEAN Business Club will participate in the 23rd World Economic Forum.
Whenever my administration is lauded for the progress our country has made, we are always quick to remind the world the transformation of the Philippines is a collective achievement, built on the shoulders of a people prepared to undertake the difficult task of reform together. It began back in 2010 when our countrymen took a stand against corruption and impunity and gave us the mandate for change, a mandate we would fulfill by eradicating corruption and fostering inclusive, equitable growth. My administration has been doing precisely this for almost 4 years now. Whether it is cutting down red tape to allow businesses to set up shop more easily, or plugging leaks and instituting reforms in our budgeting process, whether it is making massive investments in our people through skills training and education, health and social services, or enhancing the state of national infrastructure, every single step government has taken has been for the welfare of the Filipino people.
In his meeting with the ASEAN businessmen, the President assured the country's readiness to expand economic opportunities. The President reiterated that from being the sick man of Asia, the Philippines is now poised in the age of economic progress as a result of transparency to curb graft and corruption. The chief executive cited the investment-grade status upgrade given to the Philippines by the 3 international credit rating agencies.
It's the time to expand your connections and forge stronger relationships with your Filipino counterparts. The success story of the Philippines thus far is proof positive that, with the desire to uplift our fellow men and the dedication to work alongside each other, we can reach greater heights. May I invite you then to consider joining us, working with us even more in harnessing the opportunities and potentials in our country today. With the Philippines on an economic upswing and the integration of ASEAN on the horizon, we are poised on the edge of even more meaningful progress that we can realize today in this visit, and in what I trust will be many more visits to come.
Subel and Razak assured business confidence with the Philippine economy under the Aquino administration.
I think for this whole group here, Mr. President, the Philippines has emerged as a clear choice to visit at this time when your leadership, your team's leadership, have really provided the country with an outstanding performance at this point in its history. We believe all of these results are a testament to the kind of leadership, transparency, and strength that the country has shown under your leadership and your government's team.
We think we have much to contribute to support the ASEAN economic community, to give our perspectives, as many of us are already operating across the region.
The ASEAN Business Club is a private sector and has been a venue to bring together leaders to understand and help shape the growing connectivity among ASEAN economies, including the Philippines. For the People's Television, Rocky Ignacio.
We have only begun. There's so much more to discuss when we return on PTV4 special coverage of the World Economic Forum on East Asia 2014.
Bidang-bida ang yaman ng kulturang Pilipino. Mga obrang pisikal na sagisag ng ating sining. Mga ginintuang tradisyon, nagpasalin-salin, at mga biyaya ng kalikasan na kinagigiliwang tunguin. Ngayong National Heritage Month, balikan natin ang mga pamanang nagbubuklod sa ating nakaraan, kasalukuyan at hinaharap bilang isang lahi. Ipagdiwang natin ang Philippine Heritage Month. Ang mga benepisyo at programa ng GSIS para sa 1.7 million nitong miyembro at pensyonado, pag-uusapan sa loob ng isang oras. Kasama sila GSIS VP Marge Horillo at Manager Bo Sanchez. GSIS Members Hour. Pilipinas. Ngayong the weather is hata-hata. Let's do the Waka Waka. People's Television partners with the Commission on Elections for the first Luzon-wide Walk for Voter Education. Babaybayin na daan mula sa Lawa, Ilocos Norte hanggang Rizal Park sa Manila. Kasama si COMELEC Director James Jimenez at ang kanyang 9-man team. Abangan sila sa inyong lugar at mamulat sa kahalagahan ng tamang pagboto. Tuloy-tuloy ang lakaran. masusundan sa internet, radyo at telebisyon. Hanggang June 1, mahalaga ang papel natin sa ating demokrasya, kaibigan. Kaya sabay-sabay na sa lakaran. Waka Waka. Step 1, tungo sa mulat na botante. Para sa karagdagang impormasyon,
when we hear economics, what often comes to mind is figures, business, income, trade, and industry. This holds true for the World Economic Forum, but not totally. And joining us this morning is the honorary chairman of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Donald D. He will share with us the deeper implications of an event such as the World Economic Forum on East Asia. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Robert.
Sir, how significant is it to the Philippines that we are hosting the World Economic Forum?
Well, the World Economic Forum could not have come at a better time. All of us know that in the past year we have been talked about, and we are now back in the radar screen of everybody in the business community as well as in all forums, whether it's regional or multilateral. So, if you have been traveling lately, you will find that when you say you're Filipinos, they say, "Oh, you're how did you do it? How come all of a sudden you're now one of the fastest growing economy in Southeast Asia?" So it's really the best time to have this.
Sir, we have been referred to before as the sick man of Asia, and now we are being referred to as a miracle in terms of the economy. How do you think did we do it, and what contributed to this?
I think initially you must say that over the years, we have been managing our finances, public finance, very, very well. And we have, in fact, been able to stabilize our economy. Today, the past 3 years, for example, we have broadened our tax take. So our ability to give more for social services has also impacted. And everybody, especially the credit rating agencies all over the world have focused on us, have noticed us that all our basic fundamentals, our macroeconomic fundamentals are very good. You will also see that for the past 2 years, we have continuously increased our standing in the World Economic Competitiveness Report. We are, again, the country that has jumped by leaps and bounds. At the beginning of the 3 years period, we were at the bottom part of the economic survey. Now we are moving up, and we are really even ahead of our target to be in the top 30% or top tier of that economic survey.
Sir, adding to that, how do we gauge ourselves among our ASEAN neighbors when it comes to competitiveness?
Well, again, when we say competitiveness, we are looking at how open our economy has become. We're looking at how the ease of doing business, how to register our businesses. And in this area, we have been really implementing and improving our relationships in the area of local governance. So here when we compare ourselves with the other members in the region, we must say that it is very obvious that we have moved much faster than them.
Sir, we are looking forward to the ASEAN integration next year. There are, of course, challenges and benefits to this. Can you briefly discuss these with us?
Well, I think the public should understand that it's not going to be a shocking change come December 31, 2015. We've been working on this for 2 decades already, and as far as trade in goods, we have already integrated we have already a common tariff in ASEAN, and we have reduced our tariff by 99% of our products. So only very sensitive products have we kept the tariff and quantity restraint. So as far as trade in goods, there's not really much. but the integration will come in the area of services and the other pillars of the economic community. So I think what we're doing right now, and which we will continue to pipe in our SMEs into the supply chain of the ASEAN companies.
Sir, the region has been racked with political instability recently with Thailand going under martial rule. How will this impact on the ASEAN integration, and what effect will this have on our country?
The economic situation in Southeast Asia, especially after the last financial crisis, have shown that it is necessary for the foreign investors to spread out their risk and not concentrate all their goods in just one country. In Thailand, for example, they had the floods. Now they have the political problem. Vietnam, for example, has some problems as well. So what we have to do in the Philippines is to make sure that we send the proper signals to the investors all over the world that here we're peace-loving, we're stable, we do not, while we have the problems similar to Vietnam, what we do is we continue to push for solutions, peaceful solution through international arbitration. So as we handle this situation well, I think that you will find that we will really be the country of choice as far as putting a secondary manufacturing facilities for the investors.
So now when we look at all these issues, whether economic or political, what kind of communication do we have from our business community to our ASEAN neighbors to ensure that when we talk and when we do business with each other, we put in place certain safety nets to ensure that crises like this don't happen?
Well, crisis we cannot avoid. I mean, it's beyond our control. It's how we manage the crisis. For example, in Thailand, the political divide is such that the politicians there's no statement in Thailand. So there is no discussion going on, no compromises going on, and that's why you have this long stalemate leading to this current regime. I think it doesn't happen here in our country. We're more open. Our politicians, in fact, are constantly talking with each other, maybe arguing with each other, but at the end, we know how to compromise and we know how to move ahead.
Sir, let's talk about corruption. The World Economic Forum, 23rd World Economic Forum on East Asia will focus also on the fight against corruption. And we know that the battle cry of the administration is Daang Matuwid. How does good governance translate to good economics?
You know, when you're talking of good economics or expanding in attracting our country for direct foreign investment, it's very important that they see that we're able to go beyond the problems of corruption. Example, they would be very afraid if we, for example, are not able to solve the problem of smuggling. For some sectors, this is very, very serious. The other thing is they want to see sustainable policies in place, which when there is corruption, and there is no policy, people make decision. People in government make decision based on on the deals that they can make. So again, if we are very fortunate that we're now looked upon as a country that's doing a lot of progress when it comes to fighting smuggling, and we are now more transparent. I hope that with the passage of Freedom of Information Act, this will further enhance their confidence.
So now, in light of this, sir, now, how is our climate in terms of doing business here internally here in the Philippines?
Well, we have improved a lot as far as when we say doing business, really for SMEs, they are really not looking at the institution here in the National Capital Region. They work closer with the local governments, and in the past, local governments do not have established procedure in how to open a business, how to get the permits, and even simple thing like mayor permits could be very, very difficult. Today, they have all published processes in all the municipal halls, so people now are more confident that they can get their business going, and most mayors have become, and governors have become very business friendly.
So adding to that, SMEs play a big part in nation building and also building businesses here in the Philippines. Now, what does the business community try to, projects or how do you make it easier for SMEs to come in? We know right now it's not really formally within the business community. How can we help them?
As far as the Philippine Chamber of Commerce is concerned, we have put up a whole section just dedicated to SMEs in conjunction with the Department of Trade and Industry. We try to handhold the SMEs that come to us, or we go through them actually, through our local chambers, and we teach them how to evolve a business plan so that they can present it to the banks. We also have a very big program come October of this year where we have asked 80 big to now start meeting our members to find out how they can pipe in or connect with these big companies into the supply chain. There are foreign companies there, the American companies doing business in ASEAN, there are Canadian companies, Japanese, as well as Indonesians, Malaysians in that forum that we're creating.
Mr. D, we have said earlier that this is an important event in our country. This is the first time we are hosting the World Economic Forum. But what impact will this have on the common tao? How will this help Juan de la Cruz with his everyday life?
Well, while we are looking at the forum itself, the important, or what we're going to be able to take advantage of, are the side meetings between businessmen. For example, the next 2 days, we're very busy meeting with the various foreign business delegations here. So we think that the end game here is, of course, to create joint ventures, to invite them to come into our country, to invest. Once they invest, this will create jobs, and therefore, it will give and improve our people.
Thank you very much for your time. Honorary Chairman and COC of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Donald D.
Thank you.
There are business leaders who look at the Philippines hosting of the World Economic Forum as a coming out party to showcase the country's impressive economic growth. Freddy Abando tells us more about this.
The World Economic Forum on East Asia is the country's coming out party to showcase the gains under the Aquino administration for the past 3 years. 600 delegates are converging in Manila, from heads of state to finance ministers of ASEAN, top business and economic leaders of the global community, the foreign press, and non-government organizations. From boom and bust, the country's economic growth was sustained for the past 15 years. The last 3 years under the watch of President Aquino registered the highest, with a 7.2% growth in 2013. The President's policy of reforms has been the benchmark in enhancing the country's competitiveness in the global economy.
We're hosting APEC, hosted ADB before. I think that just shows you that there's more attention now to the Philippines. We should follow through on the transformation and the governance reforms. We should follow through on investments in infrastructure and our people. We should follow through in making sure that we're more competitive so that we're ready for whatever competition throws at us.
Despite all political upheavals, the ERA period, the Hulaw-Garci period, and in addition, we're seeing rising growth rates. The growth rates now are higher than, for instance, when I was in government, and even during the Ramos period. So the question is, how much of this is due to unique characteristics of the Philippine economy that has nothing to do with leadership, and how much of this has to do with leadership? And I say both.
We're extremely happy, to be hosting World Economic Forum. It's the first time in over 20 years that it's been running in East Asia, and the pattern has been that they tend to go to a country which is really beginning to break its pattern, move up competitiveness rankings, strong economic growth, and it's really breaking out. So I think picking the Philippines this year is a recognition that the country has really picked up the pace and shown the world what it can do. And just like it picked other countries before, it's picked the Philippines this year.
The Philippines is rising as the strongest economy in ASEAN for 2014. There is a long list of factors to back the optimism of the global community. The competitiveness ranking in the World Economic Forum has improved significantly in good governance, tourism prospects, information technology, the gender gap, and trade facilitation. The rating upgrade to investment grade and the giant leap in the ease of doing business are all positive factors which make the Philippines an ideal investment destination for foreign investors to explore opportunities and be part of Asia's emerging economic tiger.
We're up, and we're up in a big way. I mean, if you take a look at the overall global competitiveness report, we're up by 26 in the last 3 years since the Aquino administration has come into office. On tourism, we're up by about 12. Enabling trade, we're up by 8. And IT, we're also up by 8. And it's in gender gap report, which I think might surprise people. We're number 5 worldwide, and the only ASEAN country in the top 10.
The skyline of Metro Manila is a perfect symbol to show that the Philippines is moving forward. The construction boom, the surge of manufacturing, the increasing flow of tourist arrivals, a solid and stable banking industry, sustained consumption spending fueled by overseas Filipino workers, the rapid rise of information technology, increasing investments in infrastructure and social protection programs for the poor has advanced the country as a model for sustained economic and inclusive growth.
The key there is, of course, that the government has programs. It takes advantage of the financial situation to have programs that will make growth inclusive. In other words, jobs must be created, the children of the poor must have access to nutrition so that they will be much healthier and smarter than their parents. And of course, that we create an environment where entrepreneurs are willing to come and employ Filipinos in the Philippines rather than in their home countries.
For the People's Television Network, this is Freddie Abanda reporting.
When we return, we'll have more of PTV4's special coverage of the World Economic Forum on East Asia 2014.
Isang napapanahong panawagan ng inyong telebisyon ng bayan sa pakikipagtulungan ng Commission on Elections. The road to the World Economic Forum on East Asia. In its colorful history, the World Economic Forum has provided a neutral platform for peace and unity. It has also introduced emerging economies and showcased the latest trends in many fields. Witness history as Manila plays host to the World Economic Forum on East Asia this May. Watch it here on PTV.
It goes on and on and on and on and on, and we go on and on and on and on. We're gonna fly high, be alive. Yeah, we're gonna fly high, be alive. We're gonna fly high, be alive.
We're back with our special coverage of the World Economic Forum on East Asia 2018. Prior to this event, the Philippines' credit standing was upgraded 4 times in a row by highly reputable international credit ratings bodies. Elena Luna tells us more.
Before hosting the World Economic Forum on East Asia, the Philippines received 4 consecutive credit rating upgrades from 3 international rating agencies. It was the first time for the Philippines to bag the seal of good fiscal housekeeping from Fitch Ratings when it lifted the country's credit ratings to investment grade March last year. From BB+, Fitch raised the Philippines' long-term foreign currency IDR or issuer default rating to BBB-. In the same way, the long-term local currency IDR was raised to BBB from BBB-. Fitch cited the fiscal reforms of the Philippines, noting how governance has strengthened the Philippine momentum. It noted the economy's resilience, which expanded 6.6% above the targeted 5 to 6% growth. It also credited the government's fiscal discipline and improvements in fiscal management that began under President Aquino. 2 months later, Standard & Poor's Rating Services handed the Philippines its second investment grade. From BB+, the country's credit rating went up 1 notch to BBB- with a stable outlook. S.M.E cited the improved fiscal flexibility and the strengthened ability of the Philippines to pay its debts to foreign investors.
The question of inclusiveness is one that strikes at the very essence of growth. Do we define growth as the mere amassing of wealth, the mere swelling of the gross national product regardless of who benefits? Or do we decide and abide by the principle that the strength of nation lies in its people, that the fair and just way forward, indeed the only way forward, is for government to ensure that the system allows for equitability, where every citizen, regardless of status of birth or personal network or circumstances, is allowed the opportunity to shape his destiny through his own ability.
Days before President Aquino addressed the international community at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation or APEC Summit in Bali, Indonesia last October, he brought of good news. Moody's Investors Service upgraded the rating of the Philippines by 1 notch from BA1 to BAA3. Moody's cited the following factors for the upgrade. First is the sustainability of the country's robust economic performance. Second, the ongoing fiscal and debt consolidation. And finally, the political stability and improved governance. From the APEC Summit, President Aquino went home, dubbed as the leader of one of Asia's rising economic star. The Philippines continues to shine its star when it obtained its highest credit rating in history from Standard & Poor's. From the previous rating of BBB-, S&P rated the Philippines at BBB. This is the best grade the Philippines has ever received from any of the 3 major credit rating agencies. Malacanang is hopeful the investment grade will eventually translate into increased investments and accelerated jobs.
In terms of foreign investments, doing the inclusive growth, and also with the government's push in really doing transparency and anti-corruption campaigns.
However, Robert, there is still much work to be done. The government plans to improve its ranking in the ease of doing business, and it is in the bottom half, although our ratings have significantly improved. Plan to be on the upper 60 by 2016, so that's the bigger challenge to the administration.
And Kathy, as we know by now, an impressive credit rating spurs investments. As we angle for more investments, we also present proof that the Philippines has all the right ingredients to lure investors to its shores. Crizel Lacson shares with the world the reasons why the country is headed for a higher and brighter future.
Once in a slump, now booming with life and promise. The Philippines has become more and more attractive to investors because of its rapid economic growth and is continuing to attract large-scale industries. Brazil, Russia, India, and China may be the focus point of foreign investors, but recently the Pearl of the Orient has become an exciting destination. The country has become noteworthy for a multitude of reasons. One is the improved political environment. The Aquino administration's reform agenda has paid dividends in the previous years. For the first quarter of 2013, we beat China's gross domestic product growth, and by the end of the same year, we grew by 7.2% in the Southeast Asian region. The sin tax reform has and continues to raise money that is redeployed to infrastructure. This new infrastructure attracts global businesses, with large corporations expanding operations in the country. Already, more and more international companies have invested in the Philippines, the most notable of which is the business process outsourcing or BPO sector. Since 2006, the BPO industry has grown 46% annually. In 2012, it has generated more than $13 billion in revenues, and last year it grew 17% to $15.5 billion. It also employs 900,000 Filipinos, with international clients asking for more work to be done in the country. And now the Philippines is the top choice for voice services and the second preferred location for non-voice services. The country's economy is also resilient. Approximately 10.5 million Filipinos work and live abroad, and our fluency sets us apart from other Asian countries. Our literacy rate is at 96% continent. 3,000 hard, which can edge over it. For 10 years, the Philippines has transitioned. Global information company IHS reports that with our long-term we become a trillion by 2030. GDP $2,000 per year to 800 person by 2024. Is one of this consumer culture. The future of Filipinos are reaping are excited. We will see information to what
We'll have more live feed special coverage East Asia.
Na isang daig ng buong ng aksyon nakatutok sa mga galan lilingkod yan ito bagong si Camarino maglaya kilalanin Ustream at ang mga Admiral Santos Rachel sa programang ang Marie tuwing alas aga.
Sa kapulutan maharap ang tagumpay at mga Diyos buhay ring pagkakas agalaon bawat isa sa likod ng bawat kwento.
And that's why we have always been historically been lagging in foreign investments because every new changes, and this is which many investors to see once they go thinking these rules of the game. It tends to every four who comes. Third aspect, of course, is the policies for investment line counters in the L where cities starting up and revenue. Again, foreign investors that need to be harmonized. There has to be greater organization and GU national government. Making sense there, but quite a distance to go. The fact that the government is paying a lot of graft of healthy development. Once we discover how much of the graft might create very difficult and manage to discover very few who pass the test in service.
Corruption. You've go doing business. Government has in making it easy and businessmen business country, but what can be done?
Okay, in whether a lot of been security mission which is easier, and then is through the PTI for foreign investments and what incentives they be willing to offer, allow certain industries to. Three is the simply of kind of industry here. There has been a try to amend some of the things that are contained in the Constitution, like in this, that in the that have been for has the economic conditions in our country and not us to lose, because there are nationalists whether properly or not want to resolve the Filipinos, and that is a realistic thing. No longer live itself. It's being emphasized by the World Economic Forum of nations with each other, turn to interact with the other, both policy, investment policy, and some of the federal agreement as far as the other concerned.
So, sectors are trying to see if we need to change the country to put foreign investments in. How do we leverage that for them to come in? Sir?
Can you just kind of repeat that?
Outside of see us as a viable country to put foreign investments in, how do we combine that, trying to make the Philippines a better place to leverage?
The main that we need a great effort is how to productive labor. Through measures of paid wealth is the productivity of it. We simply labor a skill resource, and the more sophisticated of investment enter into the country. Two, it's technology transfer to this. If all we have are manual labor, and where, for example, education, skills training are going to really make our own much more effective from manufacturing, agriculture, or any other type of investment. The problem is that in some of our own labor, the country, the nation of OFD, and so left here labor force. For example, to find a carpenter, to find an electrician, to find a plumber, to find there is, and where the government and sector move together in all science and skill exist, and us really take off from economics because we don't have skill and competent labor for industry and foreign investments will. That is, of course, one area. And the second, of course, is to build medium-sized in this country. Again, of trying to pay entrepreneurship. There are a lot of things that some of them, at least makes an succeed, is fundamentally discipline. The entrepreneur ties to his personal life, to the business. Many feel S.M.E. result ability to align between personal circumstances with business ends up yung the business sacrifice because of personal needs of the
I ask you a question, Mr. We will do live from Shanghai, where in minutes now we will bring to you where the next and preparing the conference room for that. So we will you live. Mr. This is our country work for economy. So in without contributing to the economy.
Well, it's a choice. They already over contracts are not for. At some point they will come. The question is, back they made it a little bit, but are they going to business? Are they ready to avoid here? What kind of opportunities are available here, considering what they are, what their experience might have been overseas. Now, some of those workers, big machine operators, welders, and all the rest of them, they ought to be able to come here. But right now, I think the biggest source of skilled labor needs is still the construction industry, and they're already encountering shortage of people. That's, of course, to be what be done to try to control becoming consumer economy here because the remittance of the OF people. Sustain, let's say, minimums and for the continuums, and let that become tax deductible, and give them incentives like double. You can deduct from your income taxes, for example, 1.5 or 1.5 or whatever it is to train. I think to this together between and the government, simply the government doing and the sitting back doing very little.
Okay, on that note, thank you so much for joining today. That was Mr. Rosa, a political. Now, one of the discussions in the World Economic Forum is integration 2015 together our nation association as a will be Sam discusses the that will probably forthcoming community.
The Association of Southeast Nations and members, namely Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam. The region has 600 citizens, combined gross of $1.1 in 2018. Region with languages, chiefs, and cultures. Dream borderless 2015. In 2007, the ASEAN held in the ASEAN Vision 2020 and members to promote regional cooperation, the spirit of partnership, prosperity in this 2000 leaders declaration to Asia. The objective is to realize ASEAN community by the year 2020. In January 2007, during the 12th ASEAN Summit, the ASEAN leaders avowed their commitment to fast-track the establishment of the ASEAN community and realize the vision by 2015. There are 3 pillars that make up the road towards realizing the ASEAN connectivity in 2015. There is the economic pillar, the political security pillar, and the socio-cultural pillar. Each has a blueprint which specifies the various programs, projects, and activities to achieve the vision. The ASEAN Socio-Cultural Pillar outlines a bonded ASEAN community and founded on a common regional identity. The programs and activities are geared towards creating an environment where there is inclusive and sustainable growth, where the citizens of ASEAN have decent work,